Welcome to another episode of real-life haunted stories. If you love chilling tales and spine-tingling horror stories, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a scare. New nightmares drop every week. Stay haunted. So, let's start our today's episode. Today, I am sharing 5 most scariest haunted real-life stories which related with hospitals. Story 1. The Night Shift Haunting. Nathan Cole took a job as a night shift janitor at St. Mercy Hospital, a place rumored to be haunted. The pay was good, and he didn't believe in ghost stories anyway. For the first few nights, everything was quiet. He mopped the halls, emptied trash bins, and ignored the occasional flickering light. Then, around 2 a.m. one night, he noticed something strange. Room 407's door was open. 407 had been sealed off for years after a fire in the ICMO had killed a full ward of patients. Curious, Nathan peeked inside. The hospital bed was still there, neatly made as if waiting for someone. The room smelled of antiseptic and burnt flesh. Then he saw it, the heart monitor still plugged in. It let out a slow, steady beep, 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 even though the power in the room had been cut years ago. A shadow moved in the corner. Nathan froze. A woman in a hospital gown stood in the far corner, her head tilted unnaturally to the side, her mouth stitched shut. The second Nathan made eye contact, the stitches ripped open, and she let out a horrible, ragged scream. The lights exploded, and the door slammed shut. Nathan woke up on the hospital floor, his arms covered in burn marks. When security footage was checked, all they saw was his body lifted into the air by an unseen force, then thrown against the wall. Nathan quit that night, but room 407 remains, unlocked every night at 2 a.m. no matter how many times it's sealed. And if you listen closely, you can still hear the heart monitor beeping. Story 2. The Silent Ward. Dr. Emily Carter had worked in psychiatric hospitals for over 10 years, but she had never encountered a ward like Ward 6 at Blackridge Asylum. It was where patients stopped talking, not from trauma, not from illness. They simply refused. One patient, a woman named Anna, had been a normal, chatty person until she was transferred to Ward 6. Within days, she sat silently on her bed, her face pale, her mouth slightly open as if she were about to speak, but never did. Emily sat with her one night and whispered, "Tell me what happened." Anna's lips trembled. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Then her hands started twitching violently. Her eyes rolled back. The room went ice cold. Anna suddenly screamed, but it wasn't her voice. It was deep, layered, like multiple people speaking at once. Then she collapsed. Emily called for help, but before the nurses arrived, Anna sat back up, smiling eerily, and in a voice that was not her own, she whispered, "I told you not to ask." The next morning, Dr. Emily Carter was found sitting in her office, eyes vacant, mouth sealed shut, just like the rest of Ward 6. Story 3. The Experimental Cure. Ethan checked into Green Ridge Hospital for a routine appendectomy. He woke up strapped to a surgical table. The doctor leaning over him was not the one he remembered. Dr. Holt had a reputation, one that made other doctors whisper. His research was banned in most countries. And now, Ethan was his latest test subject. Ethan felt something moving inside him. The pain wasn't normal. "You don't have an appendix anymore," Holt said. tightening Ethan's restraints. I replaced it with something better. Ethan struggled, his vision blurry. The pet thing inside him twitched, sending burning pain through his stomach. Holt inserted a scalpel into the fresh stitches. Ethan screamed as something crawled out. It had tiny legs, metallic, insect-like, but pulsing like it was alive. As Ethan's vision faded, Holt whispered, "Congratulations, you're the first successful host." Ethan never left the hospital, and now, when patients hear something skittering inside the walls, they wonder if they're next. Story 4, The Wrong Patient. James Carter woke up in a hospital bed. His head was wrapped in bandages. A nurse entered. "Good morning, Mr. Carter." James frowned. That wasn't his name. "I think you have the wrong person," he muttered. The nurse's expression didn't change. She adjusted his IV. "You're exactly where you need to be." The days passed. The big staff refused to let him leave. His medical records didn't match. His fingerprints didn't match. Then he saw his reflection. His eyes weren't the right color. His own face looked wrong, almost like it was shifting, changing subtly every time he blinked. One night, he snuck into the file room and found his medical record. Subject 12, identity stabilization, 90% complete. The door creaked behind him. A doctor stood there, smiling. "Ah, you weren't supposed to see that." James tried to run, but suddenly he woke up. Same bed, same nurse. "Good morning, Mr. Carter." This time he didn't remember his real name anymore. Story 5, The Last Visitor. Nurse Laura had worked in hospice care for years, and she could always tell when a patient was near the end. But at Silver Pines Hospital, something was off. Every night, at exactly 3 a.m., a visitor would appear, a tall man in black, face hidden in shadows, standing beside the dying patient's bed. He never spoke, never moved. One night, Laura watched from the hallway. The visitor had turned his head toward her. He had no face. When she blinked, he was gone. The next day, the patient he had stood beside died at 3 a.m. exactly. The pattern continued. Every patient who saw him died within minutes. Then, one night, he stood beside her bed. She stopped breathing. Her heart stopped. When she woke up, it was 3:01 a.m. The visitor was gone. But from that night on, every time she looked in a mirror, she saw him standing behind her, waiting. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, to show your support, comment to share your thoughts or ask questions, and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated with our latest content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload.